Canada, and I was helping my mom find a place to live, like a new place, and so we sorted that out, and then I came back to LA, and I knew I had maybe like 2 months until the house would close, and then she would move in and stuff, and I had to go help her with that and renovate the house and stuff. So it was kind of like, okay, you got this window. All the ducks were in a row except for like, okay, you should make a record. Like it's about time. Come on. So I went up and yeah, but then the first month and a half was spent making this other record that I don't think will ever see the light of day. But yeah, and I kind of drove myself a little crazy with that. And then luckily, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start over. And then the one that's coming out came out. So
Miracle.
I honestly, I mean, well, the thing was, I wrote a bunch of songs. They got to the demo phase. It's just when I got to the point of trying to re-record, I get this thing I call it demoitis, where you fall in love with the demo, or there's some component of the demo that that has the joie de vivre in it or something, and then you're trying to recreate that. It's insane. You're never gonna get the same feeling again. But I go down this road so often where I'm just kind of like, yeah, it'll be fine. I'll just re-record it and it'll be great. But it just doesn't. I can't, I don't know. I don't know. If I listen back to those secondary recordings again now, maybe I'll be like, oh, this is a lot better. But in the moment, but I do think, yeah, having one in the tank though, like, and it's public. I've told people like, oh, there's this one that didn't get, it's like Prince or something. It's like, oh, that one's in the vault. That's awesome. I've never I've never written fan mail actually. Yeah, I receive fan mail, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's cool. It really varies, you never know. There's a certain point of year where I get invited to like every teenager's grad. Kind of like, what do you want me? Why? Like why?
Reveal yourself to me.
I don't. When I was in my early 20s, I was just this guy. I was, essentially the same guy, but I think kind of just more arrogant or something, or kind of like, let's rock, like yeah, So maybe I'm just more feeble now, or something,
Miracle.
I don't know. Sweet. This album feels a bit twisted, is how I've been describing it, which is kind of what you were saying, where it's like. Yeah, it's some of the lyrics are not of the most happy, circumstance or whatever, or like, subject matter, but yeah, but then the melody is like can be kind of sweet sometimes. But I even back when I was 22 or on the record 2 or yeah, record 2 is kind of where it started, but that juxtaposition has always been interesting to me.
Miracle from above.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good way to put it. I remember when we were touring way back in the day, we got an offer to go with that band Phoenix. And I didn't want to do it just because I didn't want to I was like, I don't want to open. Like, I don't, we never really did any other support tours ever. And I didn't really know their music that well. I obviously knew, well, I'd heard their big songs and stuff. But everyone at the label was like, do it, do it. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. And luckily, those guys turned out to be like the sweetest guys of all time in the show. It was really fun, and it was a great experience to like see, how that stuff went out, and it was sick to see them play every night. But I remember kind of, the crowd. It was a different crowd that we'd play to because at that point we would play to like kind of the cool kids in every city. It was like it's like the kids that read your like 6.8 Pitchfork review or something. It's like we know. Or even kids that didn't read Pitchfork, it was like we would play for like the noisy kids in the city or whatever. And then with the Phoenix thing, all of a sudden it was kind of the vibe was very like kind of like all of a sudden there were these mall people. Like there were still cool people, but there was these people who were just kind of like, I got you concert tickets, baby. And it's kind of like, wow, I'm fully like in the I got you concert tickets, baby bracket now. It's just kind of like I mean, people have come and gone, or like cool scenes of whatever. Like yeah, I'm sure that there's people. I'm sure it's shows I play. Like I don't know if anybody that was really there. I'm sure some people from 2012 are still there now, but I used to be tapped in a lot more, and I haven't really toured in a long time either. So my like litmus or like my like awareness of the people at the shows was I'd go out in the alleyway afterwards and like talk to people for a couple hours, and well, sort of. I mean, I would never wait out in an alleyway for a band to come out, probably, but that's just me. But it's not saying those people are weird, but it's like a certain kind of person, you know what I mean? But I don't know, but I don't even have that anymore. It's part of the beauty of going on this tour that we're about to go on is I don't really know. I don't even, yeah, but that's exciting. That's what's interesting to me. I'm kind of trying to like approach this whole year and this release of this album and everything kind of the way that I would have done it in 2012, where yeah, I just want to see what happens. Like even with the music, like we'll rehearse, but it's like I just kind of want to let the songs do their thing. I didn't really make it with anything or anybody in mind. It's just kind of like, let's see. Could crash and burn. That's fine too. You know, we'll see. Whatever. It'd be cool if people listen to it, you know, and if they can kind of form their own little world with it. But for me, I'm quite satisfied with it at this point. Like for me, it feels like it's the first time I've been able to accomplish this kind of like weird little. There's a lot of records that I listen to that feel like this weird little world that kind of exists on its own with the way it sounds and the amount of songs and the lyric, just like kind of works as a whole really nicely. And it'd be cool if people listen. If they don't, that's okay. But with the touring too, even it's like you know I have some like idea of I'd like to see where things go, but in that way, it's kind of like you know I want this like scalability. But, you know, there's like a couple venues on this tour that are like 50-person venues, you know, which is like that's awesome. I want it to be kind of you know up and down like that, and I want to like meet. I always tell this story about this like maple syrup farm that we all stayed at in Ontario, I think, or in Quebec somewhere years ago on tour with me, Almond Dunes, and Juan Waters' whole crew. Like it was like 15 musicians. And it was, and this girl like was like, "Yeah, you guys can all stay." We're like, "What?" And it was like a farm, so they had a lot of room. And then in the morning, they made a shitload of pancakes, and like her dad was like up in this shack, like shredding like a you know, a little practice amp and a Stratocaster up in the trees, and there are all these like tubes connected to all the trees. But anyway, that's what I want. I want to find my way back to the sugar shack. You know what I mean? I'd say, I don't know. I mean, the way that the things work, you know, it's so different now. Like, I don't really know how scenes operate now. It's funny in LA, there are like people trying to do DIY shows, and I mean, they do it, and it's cool. But in some instances, I do think that like there's like I've seen some instances where it's not out of necessity. It's out of like, it's like, oh, well, that looked cool. And yeah, we were the same way back in the day. It's like, yeah, I'm playing in like a warehouse or something. I don't know. I just think that find people that do the same, you know, I like-minded people. Hopefully there's some, you know, I feel like in these small scenes there's always somebody that has some, you know, be it they're in a band or not. There's just always somebody that's like, I'm going to ringleader this operation. And I think that, you know, hopefully there's somebody like that. If there's not, maybe consider taking up the position yourself and just enjoy yourself. It's all fucked. Just, you know, here's my advice. Enjoy yourself. Play a lot. Write some songs. If any contracts come your way, make sure you talk to a music attorney. And that's the best advice I can give. Peace.